Hey guys, got some wrestling stories. Just a disclaimer, they're not really about wrestling. It's more about what happened at like wrestling tournaments and stuff. But yeah. So this is like my earliest memory of wrestling. I went to, I think it was Empire State Games when I was in 8th grade. There was one other kid at the tournament and I beat him, so I got to go I passed the qualifier. And so I'm like in 8th grade. All these kids are like 10th, 11th, 12th grade, and even older, because like it's kind of like a weird Olympics of New York State or whatever. But I remember like all these older dudes are talking, and I'm in like 8th grade, and I'm just like, I don't even know what's going on. And they're all talking about like hooking up with girls and stuff, and it's crazy. And then this one like fat, like a heavyweight, like just a big doofy heavyweight kid was just like, nah, you guys don't know shit. And then he goes in and he's just like, what you have to do is you take the butthole and you pinch it and then you blow in it. And like people were agreeing with him, and I had no fucking, like I was just I didn't know what anything was. And this kid was just like, no, you pinch the butthole and blow. And I was like, I didn't think you were supposed to go near the butthole at all. But now this guy's saying you blow into it, mouth wise. But yeah, and it took me a while, to understand that that's not what you're supposed to do. Since being an adult, I haven't heard of that happening again. Same thing, that kid was from Long Beach, I guess, and he had a bunch of like other kids on the team, and they would all just be hanging out in the freaking washroom all the time, which is weird. That's irrelevant, but I don't know, there was just like 6 kids in the laundry room of the hotel at all times, and they were all from Long Beach, so that was a weird place to hang out. But so next, I remember I went to Nationals in North Dakota. Not flexing on saying I went to Nationals, just this is where a lot of stuff happened. And the cool thing about going to North Dakota is that like all the teams from around the country are there. So you're just in college dorms, and we were freshmen, at least this year we were freshmen. And our dorm is right next to Team New Jersey's dorm, and New York's right next to New Jersey. So there's like some weird rivalry. New Jersey's really good at wrestling too, so it's like, it's kind of crazy. So at one point, we're all just like chilling in our dorms, like in between practices, and all of a sudden we hear like one kid comes and he's like, Team New Jersey's fucking flipping us off and everything. Like Team New Jersey wants to fucking fight us. So like everyone comes out, we're all at like the edge of our dorm, and we're like looking, and like Team New Jersey, like full Team New Jersey, like 30, 40 kids are just outside flipping us off and like fake jacking it and like grabbing their balls or cojones, whatever you want to call them, and all that stuff. And like, so every kid on Team New York, we're like, fuck you, like, fuck you guys, like, don't, fuck you then. So then, like, finally, like, we're just back and forth for like a good half an hour, just like, fuck you guys, like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything. And we're like about to fight Team New Jersey, and then all of a sudden, like, their leader, I don't know if he was their leader, but the guy that was talking for them, who actually ended up beating the shit out of me that week, which in a match, not in real life, because if we fought in real life, he'd probably still beat the shit out of me. But what, like, he comes up and he starts talking to us, and he's like, no, you were flipping us off. We're like, bro, we were all in our bedrooms. Like, there's no way that we were flipping you off at all. And then he's like, no. And we're like, dude, we like New Jersey. Like, New Jersey's cool. They're like, oh, we like New York. And I'm like, everything was fine. And then freaking after it's all settled, I'm chilling in my room, and my friend Nick from my high school that made Nationals as well, he comes in and he's like, I flipped off Team New Jersey, and I was fake jacking it at him before everyone heard that they were trying to fight us, and he was the sole reason that we almost had a 45-minute fight with Team New Jersey, and that I will always hate New Jersey for that reason. All right, same week, there's this girl, Helen Marulis. She was still a very good wrestler. She's like a world champion right now. But my friend was like, oh man, I really want to talk to her. So again, me being in like 9th grade, I didn't know how to talk to girls. I still don't, but it's like, as they get older, they're more mature. So it's a lot harder now, I would say. You have to have like a job and like things. But so I'm like, I got you, dog, don't worry. So I go up and I say to her, I'm like, my friend's been talking about you all week, and he really wants to meet you. And he heard me introducing him, and I guess he took that as, Mikey fucking sucks, I'm running away. So my guy sprinted into the bathroom and hid. And then so this girl turns around, she's like, well, where's your friend? And I'm like, oh fuck. Now I look, and she wanted no part of me, so it's not like, but I think That was 13 years ago, and he still shits on me to this day that I fucked that up for him. I'm the reason he's not with this girl. Because I said that he was talking about her all week, and I didn't make him sound cool and rugged, I guess. Same kid, Nick, used to do this thing where, I don't even remember, honestly, because I've been so far out of wrestling. I think it's the Gable Ride, but basically, when you're on top of the guy, I know it's going to sound like a gay porn at all times, but when you're on top of a guy, you put one arm under his arm, and then another arm in between his, like, legs to, like spread him out. Yeah, it's don't picture it. But basically that's what you do. You just have, like, one hand, like, posted up to keep their leg from, like, being able to, like, move out of the position or whatever. But he would just grab kids' nuts. Like, he would just grab kids' nuts. And one kid couldn't handle it. And it was probably one of the funniest matches I've ever seen, because this kid would just start complaining to the ref, like, "Ref, he's grabbing my dick." And he was just so vocal about it. And the ref's like, "I can't do anything about it. Like, what do you want me to do about it?" And then Nick was just straight face, like he wasn't grabbing this dude's wiener the whole time. And I know this makes wrestling sound terrible, but Nick single-handedly won this match because this kid just gave up. Like, the kid stopped wrestling because he didn't want his nuts to get grabbed anymore. It was the best. On another side note, one of my friends was wrestling, and he was beating the crap out of some kid, and he's like almost pinning this kid, and pinning is just where you have both shoulder blades on the mat. And this kid straight up takes his hand and just uppercuts into my friend's nuts and just starts grinding, and they just let it happen. It was the best. Yeah, I mean, the stories, they're not that great, but they are what they are. One time I pooped my pants wrestling. That was bad. That was at another national tournament, and freaking wrestling this kid really good, doing fine. I think we're in overtime. He shoots on me, and I pooped my pants. And then I just laid there until the match was over, and I felt terrible about it. But that's what happens when you're cutting weight, because you used to cut weight a lot, and then, yeah, but it was bad. Good thing is that my singlet was a dark color, so no one knows you pooped your pants. It just smells bad everywhere. This is probably one of my favorite stories, because my one friend on the team always used to get in trouble because he would just say the worst stuff always. But, so one of our teammates had like a very attractive sister, and he was like a freshman when we were like seniors, so it was always funny. We'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna pork your sister," because that's how guys talk, especially on the wrestling bus. And so we're all sitting there, we're like, "Oh yeah, we would definitely do your sister," like all this stuff. And then Henry like just takes it a notch up. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I'll be with your sister," and he's like, "I'll just be motorboating that pussy." And then he's just like, he starts doing the motorboat sounds, like he's just like that. But my coach heard it all and was just like, "John, are you serious?" And like my friend like knew he got caught, and his motorboat just petered out. Like he was just like, it was the best. Like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Talk to you later.